They all tell you to try something new like a food or activity. And today, I'll be traveling by Amtrak down the West Coast.
Good morning everybody, I'm the Trip Reporter, and today I'm going to be trying something I've never done before. I'll be traveling down the coast from Seattle to Los Angeles by rail.
This Coast Starlight trip is about 35 hours long, including multiple stops, which is just enough time to experience the Amtrak Roomette. The Roomette is for travelers who want savings, privacy, and comfort. Amtrak is the National Railroad Passenger Corporation owned by the US government and operates intercity service in 46 of the 48 contiguous states, those two states being Wyoming and South Dakota. I normally travel by air since it is the safest, best, yet fastest way to get from place to place, so I'm pretty excited to try a new way of transportation, even if it's not the fastest. Today's journey begins at 9 a.m. in Seattle's King Street station at the Amtrak terminal. I've never been here before, so I'm going to explore. Upon entry, you will need to show your ticket to a security guard. There aren't any security checks like in an airport, but you may be subject to a search. The station isn't too big and looks quite historic with its brick and granite Italian design, and modern with its tiny baggage claim and Hertz rental counter. Oh, and just like in an airport, there are departure boards. There aren't many amenities in the terminal except for vending machines, but you're free to bring outside snacks and drinks. Before I forget, if you purchase a Roomette or a sleeper room ticket, you get complimentary access to Amtrak's Metropolitan Lounge. There isn't any here. So without further ado, let's step on board the Coast Starlight.
When I'm traveling by air, I'm pretty fast to find my plane and my gate. Am I going to be able to find my cart and my Roomette? We'll find out.
Stepping inside, a shelf is available for those with roller bags. And if you step into the wrong car like I did, you don't need to exit to get to the right one. Roomettes with even numbers face the coast, while the odd-numbered ones face the mountains. I made it to my Roomette. You can actually reserve one ahead of time, which I didn't, but luck was on my side since I got a right-hand side Roomette. You'll see why once we get closer to LA. Up here is the top bunk if you're traveling with someone. Your car attendant will be happy to do it for you upon request. You'll need to climb these 2 steps in order to get to the top of the bunk. 2 coat hooks are available in case you need it. Each seat has a reading lamp, but only one has a power outlet and no USB ports. This light up here is for whoever is going to be in the bunk and needs lighting just in case. A good sized pillow was waiting for me at my seat, and tons of legroom. Legroom is still good even if you're traveling with somebody else, as long as you're below 6 feet. If you want some privacy, you just lock the door like this from the inside first, and close the curtains by securing it with a Velcro strap. The Roomette cannot be locked from the outside. Looks like we've left the station. I had no idea we were moving until I heard a kid say we were. Looks like we had an on-time departure. I had to take a look outside since the departure went so smooth. I hardly felt the train move. Once the train leaves, you'll see Lumen Field, or known as CenturyLink Field for the Seattle locals, and T-Mobile Park, also known as Safeco Field. left Seattle, a food car attendant came up to everyone's room asking what time we'd like to have lunch and dinner. Amtrak does something called community seating, meaning if your party has 3 or less people, you will be seated with others in the dining car. But if you are in a bedroom or roomette, you can have the food delivered to your door, which I like since I don't feel like socializing right now. Some of the things you will find in your roomette is a copy of the menu. It is also available in every table at the dining car. The menu can also be accessed online. And to save you time, I linked it down in the description. Tissues are provided, just in case. Here's a welcome card from the Vice President of Customer Service, and stuff to expect on the back page. Like on an airplane, a safety card is provided to know what to do in case of an emergency. Only this time, I had to actually read it since it is my first time and the train attendants do not perform a safety demo. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Trash bins are provided in all roomettes. Just as we got closer to Tacoma Station, we were told it is not an open air stop where you can get out for a certain amount of time. Today was an exception since we were way ahead of schedule. That the weather in Tacoma was the usual Pacific Northwest weather. Straight up rain. So I'll go back and use the restroom instead. The lavatory is like the one you'd see on an airplane. If you've flown on a plane before, you must have been thinking the same thing. In the middle of the car is a self-serve coffee station that's only open in the morning. Here's the roomette table. It comes out of a little pocket and folds as required. Let's get some lunch. Each table in the dining car can seat up to 4 people. Once you step in, you just wait for the server to seat you at your table. Every seat is decorated with real roses and starched cloth linens. For lunch, I decided to have a natural Angus burger, and it was pretty good. Though the onion was a little too big for a burger, I ended up taking it out after a few bites. The meat was nice and juicy. For dessert, I'm having a brownie drizzled in chocolate syrup. Nothing too special and on the sweet side. We're now approaching Portland, shortly after I finished eating. Portland Union Station is an open air stop, and because it's a large city, I can step inside the terminal for a bit. Portland has a Metropolitan Lounge, which I get to access since we have about 20 minutes here. The lounge isn't that big, but there is enough to do for a short stopover. There are snacks such as chips and candy, as well as drinks like Coke products, coffee, and water. I grabbed a lemon bar since it looked appetizing. And it is. If you want to store your bag somewhere, there's a small room to place it in. The Portland terminal is a bit larger than Seattle's. There's a little gift shop with snacks, and vending machines too. Let's step out of the terminal to have a glimpse of how the terminal looks like and its surroundings. Almost 20 minutes has passed. Time to get back to the Roomette after having some fresh air. I got some Doritos and another lemon bar for the trip ahead. Most of the stops en route are not open air, so I'll be staying inside until reaching another open air stop. Staff will also announce if a stop is open air. I haven't been to this part of Oregon before, and I agree Pacific Northwest's natural beauty is really stunning. Oh, and there's In-N-Out at Salem. If you run out of water, there's free water in the drinking fountain in the dining car just above a sink. This next stop is Eugene, which is an open air stop. The weather here is pretty warm, so I am definitely liking it. See ya later, Eugene. Up next is Remote, which is about a 3-hour ride. I can't wait to see the Oregon scenery for this part of the trip. And since it is a long trip, I'm going to charge up. I wasn't a huge fan of the dining car since I had to socialize, so I chose to have dinner in my Roomette and enjoy some privacy while eating. If you are going to eat in your Roomette, you must tell your car attendant so they can take your order, then bring it to you. For my first dinner, I'm having plant-based pasta, fried coconut shrimp for the appetizer, and blueberry cheesecake for the dessert. The pasta wasn't bad at all, considering that I am not a fan of vegetables. The cheesecake was amazing. Wish I could eat another without getting a pound. This is the observation car. It's basically a viewing car. I'll surely be here a few times to enjoy the view of the other side of the train. The viewing car is packed with coach class passengers who did not want to sleep. I'm going to get comfortable for the meantime and watch trees. There is also barely any signal en route, so you can either enjoy the scenery or do something else. The observation car also has seats with desks, in case you want to eat, or in case you just want to work in the observation car if you are not a Roomette or bedroom passenger. The observation car also has windows on the top for better views. The coach cars are in a 2x2 configuration with lots of legroom and a footrest. Although meals are included in both Roomette and bedroom tickets, extra snacks are not. The cafe area is on the lower level of the observation car. There's also water in case you need it. In my opinion, the snacks and drinks are very reasonably priced, not like airports where it will cost you $15 for something that's mid. Amtrak charges $3 to $10 for both continental and hot snacks.
So in order to turn your bed into a seat, you have to press on this pedal right here. You're going to want to pull up on this. You're going to use quite some pressure, and eventually it'll turn these two seats both flat into a bed.
Cars on the bottom
shower. Just open that up. Already provided will be your shampoos and towels and soap. Pretty neat, isn't it? So one thing to know about when you're locking this door is you want to make sure this is really locked. So I want to just pull it in here, let that stick out a little. Now push it deep in there. Voila. You can kind of see the light lit here. It's pretty hard to see from a high angle, but when it's locked, this will tell you that it's locked.
After I showered, I came back to see my roomette already turned into sleep mode. I wonder how sleeping on a train will feel like. Here's what the top bunk looks like. It also has a seatbelt. I think that should be pretty self-explanatory. Klamath Falls is also an open-air stop. I step out on all open-air stops just cause why not? Though it's cold and there's nothing to see here. When you are at an open-air stop, you have to listen to staff say all aboard. That way you don't get left behind. Now that it will be a while until our next stop's in California. Good night. It's currently almost 7 in the morning. I had a hard time falling asleep since it was quite a bumpy ride and felt uncomfortable with a flat pillow. I was hoping California would have its beautiful weather. I guess I brought the clouds from Washington along with me. Having flown between Seattle and California numerous times, I was eager to see how the views were down low instead of above 30,000 feet. Breakfast started at about 7:30. Unfortunately, breakfast couldn't be delivered to rooms, and it is a first come first served basis. Here are the Coast Starlight's breakfast options. The breakfast quesadilla sounds really good. Unfortunately, Amtrak does not offer cranberry juice, so I'm settling for orange juice instead. Here's the breakfast quesadilla and oh la la! Even the other party at my table said I made a great choice. The quesadilla also comes with crunchy bacon and salsa. The train has stopped for a little while. Apparently there was some emergency and learned later on everything was okay. Back at my roomette, another train pulled up. And the operator, for whatever reason, has an angry emoji. Okay friend, bye bye. Have a safe trip.
Oakland is the first open-air stop in California after coming from Klamath Falls, Oregon.
There is not much to do or see here. The terminal is also pretty small and does not have any amenities. Well, with time running out, let's get back on track. There's Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, which is where the Oakland A's play. I didn't think we would pass by. Complimentary bottled water is also available by the stairs, as well as complimentary coffee. There is Levi's Stadium, where the 49ers play. And you guessed it, I had no idea we'd pass by this place. Go Hawks!
San Jose is another open air stop en route to LA. Although the other stations you're allowed to smoke if you wish. However, in this station you can't because there are police stations and the station in general is non-smoking.
I'll be having lunch in my roomette. Today I'm having the Monte Cristo grilled sandwich with ham, turkey, and cheese, and it comes with kettle chips. As for dessert, I'm having the ultimate Meyer lemon cake. I am waiting until dinner for Sprite, so I'm enjoying some iced tea for the meantime. Lunch was really delicious. It came nice and hot. The cheese was perfectly melted, and the dessert too was really good. We are now in Salinas. This station is not an open-air stop. There were more non-open-air stations on the trip, so I had to stay in the train most of the time. I'm finally munching the Doritos I took from the Metropolitan Lounge in Portland yesterday. Outside are some oil pumps. I wasn't sure what those were at first until I asked my car attendant, and he told me those are oil pumps. I'm back at the observation car again. It is quite crowded, though the scenery is beautiful.
Damn. I don't see no inmates. I see workers. No, there go 2 inmates. Wish I was here.
Our next stop is San Luis Obispo. This stop is open air, and the station is right by California Polytechnical University.
A minute or 2 out now.
As you travel between NorCal and SoCal, you will see lots of vegetation. Man, I've never seen so much vegetation in my life until today. We finally got closer to the coast. Both my aunt and I think this is the highlight of the trip because you're on a train riding along the west coast, watching the waves for hours while enjoying the smooth ride. This is why I said in the beginning of the video I was lucky to have a roomette facing west. No need to go to the observation car for this scenic view. It's time for my second dinner. This is also the last meal served. I'm having medium rare steak so I can feel fancy eating it while riding along the coastline. For appetizer, I had coconut shrimp again. For dessert, I had blueberry cheesecake again since it's just so good. Here's my favorite drink, Sprite, which I've been waiting quite a while for. Just by looking at that plate, this meal, like the rest of the meals I had en route, made it to the Clean Plate Club. We're now in Santa Barbara. For some reason, there are lots of people at this station that are not passengers. As we're leaving, I'm waving at people hoping they would wave back. Anyone see that little girl waving back? I enjoyed watching the ocean waves while there was still some daylight. I also learned that if nobody is getting on or off at a certain stop, the train's just gonna pass by. It is getting darker as we are getting closer to Los Angeles, obviously meaning there isn't going to be much left to see outside. Coming up is Burbank Bob Hope Airport. This was supposed to be one of the stops, but we didn't stop since nobody was getting on or off. I was also hoping to see an airplane land or take off. Sadly, that didn't happen.
Et sèche-moi ces larmes de crocodile.
We're approaching Los Angeles Union Station. There's also a view of the LA skyline. To recap the past 35 hours, I think the Coast Starlight train is a fun and relaxing way to get from one city to another while enjoying the stunning natural beauty of the Pacific Northwest on the California coastline. For students like me, Amtrak offers a student discount which I didn't know. This trip was very memorable and I highly recommend it as an alternative way to travel. Unlike road trips, everyone can enjoy the views instead of focusing on the road. I've included some useful links about the Coast Starlight and other tips for the trip you may need in the description below. Feel free to ask me any questions you may have. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and as always, I hope you enjoyed this video.